Dozens of athletes with ties to Washington State have the honor of representing their country at the 2024 Summer Olympics this year. I'm Chris Egan with King 5 Sports. Before the games, we sat down with local athletes and coaches to hear their stories. Here are some of the big names from the Pacific Northwest that we're tracking throughout the games.
Out on the water, nothing can really affect you from the outside world. It's just this ultimate, tranquil calmness that you can't find anywhere else.
Becoming the best in the world is not easy. Staying on top is even harder.
People don't understand the work that gets put in behind the scenes. People don't realize how many hours that really is, how exhausting, how much time and energy and heart you have to put in. I think people just see the shiny good parts and they don't see the parts that really, really suck.
19-year-old Nevin Harrison from the United States on her way to the finish line. And the first ever Olympic gold medal in women's canoeing goes to Nevin Harrison in the United States.
In 2021, Nevin Harrison shocked the world by winning an Olympic gold medal at the age of 19. But post-Olympic blues followed.
I thought that if I won a gold medal, my life would be a fairy tale, rainbow, magical adventure land. And that wasn't the case. It actually got a hell of a lot harder.
Being on top was a lonely place.
Balance has been one of my biggest struggles in the last couple of years because one of the biggest things that affected me was right in Tokyo. An interviewer asked me, what do I do for fun? And I sat there looking at them thinking like, what do I need to make up right now to tell them what I do for fun? Because I realized I didn't do anything for fun, really.
So the Seattle native moved to San Diego for school and picked up some hobbies. From surfboards to motorbikes to modeling, Nevin was having fun.
I made it my biggest goal when I finished Tokyo is I'm gonna get hobbies. I'm gonna find new things. And I went to school and I started doing all these things that I loved, making new friends and having friend groups and going out and experiencing life, which I never got to do before.
Ready, up.
Lost in the joys of life, Nevin reminded herself that she needed to get back to work.
Plant. Explosive.
But the grind would start to take its toll.
I really, in the last 2 years, I've had a hard time falling out of love with my sport and not showing up to practice and enjoying it every day. I was trying to push myself into doing something that I wasn't really enjoying doing. And then on top of that, adding pain to it.
The pain came from a back injury suffered in June of 23.
I woke up the next morning after that day where I injured my back and I remember, this is bad, this is really bad, because I couldn't even really sit up. And that's never happened to me before, and I knew that I had about 2 months until I had to re-qualify for the Olympics, so I really thought I was screwed.
At the 2023 World Championships, far from 100%, she finished in the top 4, which earned her a spot in Paris.
Once I lined up for that final, my mind was strong enough to where I was able to push my body to what I needed to do. I think in a way it was kind of a surprise because I've had a really tough couple of years, so I was really excited to come home with an Olympic spot.
Remember, you're relaxing more now.
She returned to the Chula Vista Olympic training site with a new perspective.
Glide it as far as you can.
Injuries taught her she wasn't invincible.
Nice and easy.
Taking fourth humbled her.
Yeah, reaching out, both arms, lock it down. No separate parts.
But it also refueled her competitive fire.
I have a lot of really good plans and a lot of motivation that I might not have had last year, so I'm the underdog again, I guess, so it's time.
It's good to be the underdog, right?
It is. They think I fell back, but they're not ready.
It's also good that she's found joy again in the water.
I think I'm learning to fall back in love with it. I'm just gonna finish it out really, really strong and put my best foot out in Paris and hopefully bring home a gold again.
It's a beautiful spring day in Monroe. The birds are chirping. But there's another sound in the distance. There's a bullseye under attack. 18-year-old Emma Kim is one of the top archers in the country.
I just like that repetition of trying to perfect something every time and just working on the same thing so you can get better at that one thing. I think I just like that rhythm.
The Seattle shooter fires 400 to 500 arrows a day.
The only way you can really get better is shooting a lot, like we say, like quantity and quality.
Emma, a graduate of Jackson High School, has been working with Coach Mike Wixer for more than 10 years.
Oh goodness, she was this little girl when it started, and it's pretty amazing that at first they just want to learn, they just want to play, and then they get hooked, and then it's like work hard. And I mean, it took a few years.
Emma stayed on target, and when the bullseye started adding up, the wins did too. In 2022, Emma won a bronze at the World Championships. In 24, she took home a silver at the Arizona Cup, a major national event.
It was just nice to see, like, progression. Like, I've been doing the same training for how many years, and now you see that you're starting to show what you've been working on. Is always nice.
Emma isn't afraid to fight. That's the one thing. And in archery, you can have, well, I think in any sport at the highest level, there can be no fear. So that is something she definitely has going for.
Emma is currently ranked number 4 in the U.S., and while she's aiming for Paris, she doesn't waste too much time dreaming. Right now, it's all about the work.
I'm trying to take one step at a time, so I don't want to think too deeply on this, and I don't, thinking about it for me doesn't make it come any faster or slower, so I'm just trying to be in the present.
Hawkinson for 3, his second tonight.
Josh Hawkinson's basketball career took off in Pullman.
Ahead of the pack, Josh Hawkinson.
At Washington State, he became the school's all-time leader in rebounds and double-doubles.
Playing in the Pac-12, you're playing against, future NBA, first-round draft picks, NBA superstars. On a nightly basis, playing against those guys, that definitely makes you better.
He loved his time at Wazoo, but Hawkinson fell in love with basketball long before he wore the crimson and gray.
I think ball was just always integrated into my life from a really early age. Ball was my first ever word. Parents who both play professional basketball, it's kind of just in your blood, in your nature to play the game.
After Washington State, he dreamed of playing in the NBA.
I worked out for like 4 or 5 NBA teams, and unfortunately I wasn't selected in the NBA draft.
So Hawkinson moved to Japan to begin his professional basketball career there.
I think at first I was really homesick, and I didn't really know what to expect. My parents came a bunch of times my first year and kind of helped me assimilate into living in a different country by yourself.
Hawkinson embraced the culture and even learned the language.
私の名前はジョシュ・ホーキンソンです。28歳です。シアトル出身。日本のために頑張ります。
But he likes to do most of his talking on the court. Now going into his 8th season, Josh is one of the best players in the league.
Seeing how much the game has grown there, so I'm kind of really proud of the fact that I'm a part of that.
And thanks to his 6'10" frame and blonde hair, he's also become somewhat of a superstar.
I remember stepping out of a cab with one of my friends. We were going shopping. And we weren't even outside the cab, and there was like a line of 15 people waiting outside the cab, and I was not ready for that at all.
Hawkinson's rock star status grew after he helped Japan qualify for the Olympics during the World Cup.
First time in like 60 or 70 years. You look in the stands, everyone's moved to tears just from our performance, so I think it's just so cool to be a part of that.
Now it's on to Paris.
There's only a handful of people who get the opportunity to be an Olympian, so I'm just more so looking forward to the process of it and working toward that, and then once it comes, then I think I can fully embrace what that means.
It's an escape from the everyday. Everything kind of gets muted. You, the water, the wind.
Jonas Ecker from Bellingham and Aaron Small from Seattle are 2 of the best paddlers in the country. Small first got his feet wet at the Seattle Canoe and Kayak Club on Green Lake.
How special has this place been to you?
Almost been like a second home for the last 12 years of my life. A lot of summer days down here, a lot of winter days down here.
Jonas Ecker jumped into his first canoe when he was 10. In 2013, the Bellingham Canoe and Kayak Sprint Team first formed, and Jonas was hooked.
And I joined their first summer camp, and I guess since then, 10, 12 years, 11 years later, here I am.
As individuals, they would both find success. And then in 2022, they joined forces and started competing internationally in K2 events.
And we raced locally together, and we just meshed well as friends, and we're like, hey, why don't we just, I guess, take this to the next level in a sense.
Set, go!
It wouldn't take long for the University of Washington students to make waves.
K2 is synchronized coordination in the boat. There's a surprising amount of hips and legs involved, and those have to be really in sync, and timing in the water.
But being in sync and balance aren't the only things that make their boat move smoothly.
It's a lot of trust. I just think that having that communication, working together, and Aaron's trusting me that I'll stick to our race plan, and I'm trusting him that he'll back it up with the power and just kind of make it happen, I guess.
In 22, Eer and Small were the Pan American champions in the K2 500 meter. But their breakout performance came at the World Championships that same year. They competed against the best in the world, advanced to the finals, and finished 7th.
It was something that neither of us expected and was incredible, and it's really kickstarted this journey for sure.
This past March, the two dominated at the U.S. trials, and now they need one more strong showing at the Continental qualifiers to punch their tickets to Paris. What would that mean to you?
Something I've been thinking about since I first started in track when I was in high school, and then it's been my goal since I started.
There's boxes we have to check before that, and by no means are we there yet, and we're doing our best to make it there, but until we're there, we're not there yet.
But that hasn't stopped them from dreaming big.
Yeah, we have Olympic dreams. We're trying to make them come true.
Okay, grab your stuff. All right, hands on.
It's cold, it's early.
Overheads, ready, up, rolling, all the way out and down.
Just another typical morning along the shores of Lake Washington.
It's really calm and peaceful. It's just a really great way to clear my mind.
All right, walk it off, go for it. Lean away, walk it off. A perfect day out there. You want to start with good energy. Full slide, no arm draw. That's one. Good energy in the warm-up. Kind of progresses to good pieces. Ready for full strokes. Go.
A group of young men from all corners of the country have come to Seattle to chase after their dreams.
Full slide now, full slide. Still.
When all 8 sync up, the boat almost rises out of the water and it just takes off.
Hands flat, looking good. Yeah, boys.
Like 8 people are totally locked into doing the same thing.
Everyone finishing over the keel into 3/4 track.
We're working towards one common goal. There's no superhero, there's no superstar, it's not a one-man show.
When it does start moving, it's a pretty amazing feeling. It's kind of hard to describe, but you're just gliding along. It's pretty awesome.
So we're going to start with a little bit of pausing on the first 5K.
Michael Callahan has been coaching crew at the University of Washington for 20 years.
People who work the hardest at it generally succeed the most. And I always love that correlation of working hard and then having success.
And Callahan has had plenty. He's been the Pac-12 Coach of the Year 10 times and helped the Huskies win 5 straight national championships. In 2004, he was a member of the U.S. Olympic team.
I tell you what, there's nothing like being on a starting line, and instead of them naming your high school, your college, or your club that you're going for, they start say, United States of America ready, Great Britain ready, Germany ready. It has a whole different, gives you goosebumps to know that you're representing your country.
20 years later, Callahan is back with the red, white, and blue as the head coach of the men's 8.
I think that's another thing about rowing is that you can represent something bigger than yourself, and so it's also humbling, which is really good.
Full strokes continuous for a few, and then we'll do quarter track pause.
I feel like when little kids are growing up, you have kids that are like, I want to be an astronaut, or I want to be a doctor, or I want to be an Olympian. And I think people just kind of forget about those dreams sometimes.
Evan Olson never stopped dreaming. At Bothell High, he was a cross-country runner.
I was exceptionally bad. I wasn't even on the JV squad. I was in the open team, which is rank 15 through like 25. I tried hard though. I did try. I tried really hard, and I'm like, I guess I'm just bad at all sport.
Then his mom gave him a book to read.
She's like, Evan, you should read this book. It's all about teamwork and pulling hard for each other. And I'm like, oh cool, just like cross country. It's not like cross country. It's way better.
The book, Boys in the Boat. A true story based on the struggles and sacrifices made by a UW rowing team that trained on Lake Washington.
Just in front to win by a yard.
And went on to win gold at the 1936 Olympics.
And I read it fall 2013, and then I started rowing January 2014. So it was a pretty quick turnaround for me.
So you're telling me this book is why you're here?
The book is exactly why I'm here.
All 8 full strokes continuous. That's 1.
10 years later, Evan helps make up the U.S. men's 8.
It's a huge honor, every time we race for Team USA and, have the flag on your chest. You do it with a lot of pride, and it means that extra bit more to you.
Ready for a quarter track pause?
Nearly 90 years after the boys of the boat trained on the Montlake Cut, Team USA has returned to the hallowed waters.
Yeah, it's special place. Seattle's always been a big home for Olympians.
All 8 now, go.
In preparation for the final Olympic qualification regatta in Switzerland, Coach Callahan wanted his team to be surrounded by greatness and history.
And there have been a couple times where I've been out on the cut thinking about the boys in the boat. 90 years ago, thinking that there was a group of men doing the same thing that we're trying to do, it's really special.
A great story of, local heroes, and to be back here, training on the same body of water that they trained to win back in 1936. Some good symmetry there, and we're hopeful to carry on that long legacy.
Throughout the Summer Olympics, you can find coverage of local athletes on king5.com/Olympics. You can also see my live reports from Paris on King 5 Morning News and the Olympic Zone for the entire Olympic Games. Thanks for joining us.